Heartwarming moment, little girl's hidden bracelet revealed as CEO discovers an incredible bond. Emma stood in the sunlight, the air buzzing with laughter and the smell of barbecued hot dogs wafting through the air. She peered through the glass of Mrs. Loper's thrift shop, where treasures waited inside. The neighborhood was bustling, but Emma felt like she was floating in the fringes. She sighed, clutching her worn backpack. It was just a small, cozy home she shared with her mom, Sarah, but it was their haven, crammed with memories best told in whispers and laughter. As Emma ventured inside, the smell of aged wood and worn fabric enveloped her. Her eyes darted across shelves cluttered with nostalgia until they landed on a dazzling bracelet glimmering under the soft light. It shimmered with a unique design, intricate in a way that seemed to tell stories of its own. A part of her heart leaped as she hastily counted her coins, her last few quarters, before she rushed to the counter. With a warm smile, Mrs. Loper handed over the bracelet. Emma felt a spark of joy in her chest. That evening, after dinner, Sarah pulled Emma close as they nestled on the couch, blankets wrapped around them like a cozy fort. "Mom, I found this at the thrift store," Emma said, holding up the bracelet as it caught the light. Sarah's eyes sparkled, and she smiled softly. "It's beautiful, Emma. Just like you." They shared a moment of quiet happiness amid the vibrant shadows of their small living room. Emma cherished evenings like this, full of warmth and hope, where dreams danced in their conversations, but school was a different world. The laughter of classmates felt distant, and the barriers built by her family's financial struggles loomed large. She tried to fit in, but the weight of it pressed against her chest like a heavy stone. Every time her friends talked about vacations or new shoes, she felt a pang of isolation, longing for deeper connection. Then came the day of the community outreach event. The aroma of barbecue danced through the air, smiles adorned the faces around her, and as Emma wore her delicate bracelet, something stirred in the crowd. Jack Harmon, the local tech CEO, stood at the mic, radiating confidence but hiding a flicker of vulnerability beneath a polished exterior. When Emma held up the bracelet to show her friends, Jack's heart skipped a beat. His eyes met the bracelet's shimmering surface, and memories he'd buried flooded back. Was that the same bracelet, the one that accompanied him through childhood struggles? As he locked eyes with the bright spirit of the girl wearing it, a profound connection ignited, sending shockwaves through his core. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet as the night unfolded with cheers and camaraderie, Jack faced a dilemma. Could he share his own story of humble beginnings, of how dreams were once threatened by discouragement? Beyond the laughter and delighted chatter, a question loomed: could he bridge the gap between their worlds? The air crackled with possibility, thick with unspoken words and dreams unfulfilled. Emma had a flicker of hope as she caught his gaze, wondering if tonight might be the turning point in her journey. What awaited them next could redefine everything. The community outreach event buzzed with energy, but amid the chatter and laughter, Emma's heart began to race. She watched Jack Harmon from a distance, his charisma lighting up the crowd. Would he really come her way? Did he even remember the struggles they might have shared? For a fleeting moment, she imagined him stepping off the stage, approaching her with a warm smile, and saying just the right words that could bridge their worlds. As the evening continued, Jack scanned the crowd, searching. His gaze fell once again on Emma, her spirit radiant even in a sea of bustling adults. She met his eyes, and it felt like the world faded away. The weight of his past pushed against him. He couldn't shake the feeling that their paths were meant to cross. "Hey, are you okay?" One of Emma's friends nudged her, dragging her attention back to the moment. It jolted her, a reminder of the doubts bubbling underneath the surface. Yes, she wore her new bracelet, but did it really represent anything more than a passing whim? She worried it would be no match against the voices in her head that whispered she didn't belong. The sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue over everything, amplifying the warmth in Emma's chest. She decided she would not let fear hold her back. Taking a deep breath, she gently touched the bracelet, remembering her mother's words about finding beauty in the simplest things. Emma stepped forward and began to weave through the crowd toward the stage. Jack, meanwhile, was grappling with his own conflict. He felt drawn to Emma, but the voice in his head echoed louder, "You're a CEO now, what can you possibly share?" But then he remembered the hardships that shaped him, the financial struggles, lonely nights, dreams of making it. He noticed Emma inching closer, her determination evident in every step. "All right, everyone," Jack proclaimed as he prepared to wrap up the night. "I want to share a story." His words commanded attention, and the crowd grew quiet. "When I was young, just like many of you, there were times I felt lost. My family didn't have much, and my heart often felt heavy. But I learned to embrace the moments that shaped me. I'm here tonight because I want to remind you that every story, including yours, matters." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She could feel a pulse of connection between them. Jack's words rang true in her heart like a bell, and in that moment, she knew this was the bridge she'd been looking for. Especially in times of struggle, Jack continued, his eyes roaming the crowd before finding Emma's once more. "It's important to find what sparks joy in you, which could lead you down the wildest paths." Just then, Emma's heart raced, and she gathered her courage. "Excuse me," she called out, raising her hand, her voice carrying through the gathering. The crowd turned, and the spotlight shifted. Jack's eyes widened in surprise, curiosity replaced the gleam in them. What if we shared our stories together?" Emma continued, her voice unwavering. "I think it could inspire others." The air thickened with anticipation. Jack smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across his features. "That's a wonderful idea." But just as Emma thought they might forge an unexpected bond, a sudden commotion erupted on the other side of the park. A figure burst through the crowd, breathless and desperate, a look of panic shadowing their face. "Jack! You need to come quickly. It's about the funding." Emma's pulse raced as uncertainty gripped her heart. What did that mean for this moment? Would Jack have to choose between his responsibilities and this flicker of connection? As he turned to sprint toward the chaos, Emma felt a mixture of hope and anxiety wash over her. Was this the sign of a new beginning or the end of something beautiful before it even began? Emma stood frozen, the world around her blurring into a whirl of colors and sounds. Jack's figure diminished with each hurried step he took toward the frantic voice that had cut through the moment like a knife. She felt as if someone had yanked the rug out from under her, leaving her teetering on the brink of disappointment. "What is going on?" she heard one of her friends ask, breaking the silence that enveloped her. She didn't respond, caught in a whirlwind of her own thoughts. She had imagined this moment for weeks, a chance to share her story with someone who truly understood. But it seemed the universe had other plans. Beyond the echo of laughter and chatter, the rising tension from the crowd felt palpable. Emma stood on her toes to catch a glimpse of the scene unfolding. Jack leaned closer to the messenger, brow furrowed in concern. The words were lost to her, but the urgency in Jack's stance sent a chill down her spine. What if this was it? She thought desperately. What if he got pulled into a world she couldn't reach, a world filled with high stakes and expectations? Questions danced in her mind, taunting her with insecurity. Did he really want to share stories, or was that merely a passing thought? As if sensing her turmoil, her friend grabbed her arm. "Emma, let us go get some air." "No. I have to stay," she replied, shaking her head fiercely. The last thing she wanted was to run away. She had come too far to let this slip away. Okay. Her friend sighed, respecting her wishes but still looking concerned. "Just be careful." As the crowd whispered around her, Emma clutched her bracelet tighter, seeking comfort amid the uncertainty. It was a small thing, but to her, it represented more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder of her mother's encouragement to be brave. Then, amidst the growing crowd noise, Jack turned back, urgency replaced by a flicker of something softer in his eyes. He quickly scanned the gathering, and when their eyes met, Emma felt a jolt of connection surge between them again. His mouth moved, but the noise drowned out his words. She could see determination lining his features, as if he was about to say something monumental. He gestured toward her, a silent acknowledgement amidst a sea of chaos catching like a spark in dry grass. Right before her mind conjured 100 reasons to doubt, he called out, "Everyone, please bear with us. I'll be right back. Just a moment." Hope surged in Emma's chest. Could this be the moment? The chaos still swirled but seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Emma took a step forward, firmly planting herself in front of the stage. "Jack!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the tension, desperate to reclaim their brief moment. He looked at her, the flicker of recognition now a glowing flame. "What is it?" he called back, the storm of prior urgency fading into intrigue. "Let us do this together," she replied, vulnerability cloaked in resolve. He blinked, surprised, and then nodded slowly, comprehension dawning. "Yes. Yes, we should." But just as that thought danced in the air like a promise, the messenger resurfaced, urgency clear in their eyes. "Jack, we really need you now." Emma felt a sinking sensation wash over her. The connection that she had longed for could slip through her fingers yet again. Would this moment dissolve before it even began? The crowd was cresting with emotion, curiosity, impatience, concern. Everyone was waiting, holding their breath for what Jack would choose. Emma could feel the weight of that decision, as if the entire park was leaning toward the answer. "Let me just," Jack started, yet he hesitated, caught in an internal tug-of-war. Could this be enough to bridge the gap, or would they turn away from each other once more? Emma's heart hammered in her chest. The spark of possibility threatened to flicker out. She had one chance left. Would she take it? Emma felt the second stretch like elastic, her heart racing as Jack's gaze shifted between her and the messenger. Each tick of the clock echoed in her ears, mixing with the murmur of the crowd, an impatient chorus eager for resolution. She took a deep breath, her palms clammy, her mind racing with just how much she wanted Jack to hear her. "Jack!" she called again, her voice stronger this time, cutting through the crowd like a lifeline. "This is bigger than just a moment. We can inspire people together." The crowd seemed to hold its breath, the air electrifying with anticipation. Jack paused, his brow furrowing in thought. For an instant, the world around them blurred. It was just the two of them, her heart, his hesitation, and the unshakable spark that flickered like a candle in a storm. She could see it in his eyes, the weight of expectation, not just from the crowd, but within himself. "Emma," he began, his voice softer, like he was trying to piece together the gravity of what she was asking. Just then, the urgency in the messenger's expression deepened. "Jack, we really need you now." The messenger reiterated, concern clouding their features. Emma's heart sank again. She could feel the walls creeping back in fear, insecurity, the nagging thought that this was all slipping away again. But before she could spiral, she grabbed hold of the bracelet on her wrist. It felt warm against her skin, a pulse of strength. "What if this is your chance too?" she thought desperately. "What if this is your moment?" Jack locked eyes with her again. His confusion mingled with that same flicker of interest she had seen before. It gave her courage. "Jack," she persisted, desperation escaping her lips. "Think of everything we've talked about, the stories we want to share. This could help so many people." He opened his mouth as if to say something, then shut it again, uncertainty crossing his features. The crowd remained expectant, waiting for his cue. She could sense his battle, whether to follow the urgent tug pulling him away or to dive into the unknown alongside her. Emma stepped closer, fueled by conviction. "Look, whatever happens, I want you to know that I believe in you. I believe in us. The words slipped out, raw and unfiltered. She hadn't meant to lay her heart bare, but there it was, open for him to see. More than just a moment, this was a crossroads. Jack's expression softened. His eyes gleamed with a mix of gratitude and possibility. Emma, the messenger interrupted again, urgency palpable as they squared their shoulders. Jack, now. Panic washed over Emma, threatening to drown out the connection they had briefly rekindled. Would he really turn away from her? She could feel the energy of the crowd, restless, anxious, as if sharing her heartbreak. Just go, a voice from the back murmured, more in order than advice. People are counting on you. With every passing heartbeat, Emma sensed the rift growing between them. And yet, in that very moment, clarity struck Jack's face. He turned with unexpected resolve. Wait. He called out, raising a hand to silence the crowd, an echoing authority rippling through the gathering. Emma held her breath. He took a step toward her, face transformed by determination. Emma, I need to know, are you sure about this? Because I want to do this with you, but I can't do it without you. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, time stopped. Would she take that leap with him, trusting this connection was more than just a fleeting moment? Or would fear pull them apart? Absolutely. She replied, her voice firm. As Jack turned back to address the crowd, Emma felt a surge of anticipation sweep through her. What awaited them on the other side of this leap? Would they find their courage together, or would the moment crumple like so many before it? In that unsteady breath, all they had was each other. And yet, the weight of the crowd loomed like an avalanche. What if this moment is just the beginning of everything? Emma wondered, her heart racing with hope and uncertainty. The stage was set, but would they seize it or let it slip away? Yet again. Jack took a deep breath, gathering the crowd's energy as Emma stood mere inches away, her heart pulsating with the shared tension. Listen, he called out, his voice steady yet laced with urgency. If I'm going to lead, I need everyone behind me. The murmurs of the crowd shifted, a wave of energy flowing as they leaned in. It was a fragile kind of hope, hanging in the air like a hummingbird, just waiting for that one promise to let it soar. Emma watched Jack transform before her eyes. He wasn't just the boy she had known, he was becoming a leader, someone who sparked courage instead of doubt. Her heart swelled with admiration and pride. Together, he continued, we can do something incredible. We can change perspectives, ignite stories. I want everyone here to be part of it. His eyes flickered to Emma, a wordless bond forming between them, electric and tangible. The messenger, visibly relieved, nodded in approval. That's the spirit, Jack. People are ready to follow your lead. Emma felt the crowd's excitement swell, nudging her own hesitations aside. Would they thrive in this moment or fall victim to the gravity of expectations? Okay, let us do this. Jack exclaimed, a wide smile breaking through the heaviness of the situation. His hand found Emma's, fingers intertwining, a spark igniting that would not be easily extinguished. Emma squeezed back, her pulse quickening. Are we really doing this? Every step of the way, Jack affirmed, the determination in his gaze lighting a fire within her. As they faced the crowd together, a wave of energy rippled through the audience. Whispers turned to shouts of agreement, enthusiasm buzzing like electricity under the daylight. The excitement morphed into something powerful, pushing them beyond just words into action. All right. Who's ready? Jack declared, and the crowd erupted in cheers, voices weaving a tapestry of hope and determination, but just as they were swept up in the frenzy, Emma felt a nagging doubt creep back in. What if their vision wasn't enough? What if their dreams crumbled under the weight of reality? She stole a glance at Jack, who radiated confidence. She wanted to believe they could change the future together. The energy felt intoxicating, yet a shadow hung above her, the fear of failure, the fear of disappointing him, of losing this precious moment they were rebuilding. Suddenly, a little girl pushed through the crowd, her eyes wide and bright. She held something tightly in her hands, bursting with excitement. Can I come too? she asked, her voice innocent and sweet, cutting through the tense atmosphere. Emma knelt down to meet her gaze, feeling a wash of warmth. Of course. What's your name? I'm Lily. The girl beamed, her unbridled enthusiasm infecting Emma's heart like a soothing balm. As Lily produced a bracelet resembling Emma's, her eyes widened in recognition. I've got this. My mom says it brings good luck. Can I wear it while we help everyone? Emma exchanged a quick glance with Jack, both momentarily taken aback. The sight of the little girl made something click. Perhaps this was exactly what they needed, a reminder that their purpose was bigger than themselves. Yes, Lily. Let's inspire together. Jack enthused, kneeling down and ruffling her hair. As they stood and turned back to the crowd, a new layer of unity enveloped them. This was not just about Jack and Emma, it was about creating a ripple effect that would touch lives beyond their own. But as the cheers grew louder, Emma caught a glimpse of someone lurking at the edge of the crowd, an unfamiliar face with a scowl. A chill ran down her spine, and she felt apprehensive. Who was that, and what did they want? The moment felt poised on a precipice. Would this new journey bring them even closer together, or would unforeseen obstacles threaten to tear apart everything they had just begun to build? As the crowd surged forward in excitement, Emma's heart raced with a mix of anticipation and dread. What lay ahead? She could only hope that they were ready for whatever came next. The cheers from the crowd roared like a tidal wave, filling the air with an infectious energy. Yet, Emma felt that icy grip tighten around her heart once more as she traced her gaze back to the figure lingering in the shadows. Who is that? She whispered, her voice barely rising above the tide of excitement. Jack turned, his expression shifting as he attempted to find the source of her worry. I don't know, he admitted, but the confident spark in his eyes dulled just a bit. Stay close. Feeling the warmth of Lily's hand in her smaller one, Emma focused on the little girl's radiant smile. Are you ready to inspire everyone, Lily? She asked, trying to banish the unsettling feeling lurking in her stomach. Yeah. Let us make them feel happy. Lily proclaimed, her innocent enthusiasm momentarily distracting everyone from the uncertainty that hung like a shadow over the group. Emma couldn't help but smile back, letting the child's joy wash over her. All right, everyone. Who's with us? Jack shouted, raising his fists like a rallying cry. The crowd responded with fervor, and for a moment, it felt like nothing could break the bond they were forging. But that face in the crowd, Emma kept glancing over, heart racing. What if they were all so caught up in this exuberant moment that they were blind to danger? Emma? Jack's voice cut through her thoughts, grounding her in the present. She looked up, meeting his concerned gaze. What is going on in that head of yours? What if we're not ready for this? She confessed, her voice trembling as she turned serious, squeezing Lily's hand tighter. What if that person isn't here to support us? Then we find out, together, Jack said resolutely. This isn't just about us. If they have something to say, we'll face it head on. We've got each other, and this crowd believes in us. The conviction in his words ignited something deep within her, flickering like a flame fighting against the wind. Emma took a breath, letting that warmth spread. You're right, she said, nodding, though her stomach still twisted. Then, without warning, the scowling figure stepped forward, courageously slicing through the vibrant energy, his intent clear. The crowd hushed, an anxious silence replacing what had been a thrilling wave of support. Hey! The man shouted, his voice commanding. You think this is what's right for everyone? You're just kids. You don't know what people really want. Concern rippled through the crowd, turning excitement into uncertainty. Emma could see the doubt flashing in many of their eyes, and for a brief moment, she felt weighty panic. What if the man's words caught fire? But Jack stepped forward. What do you mean? People are ready for change. Change? The man scoffed, his scowl deepening. I've got a whole world of experience behind me. You think some speeches can fix what's broken? Emma's heart raced as she realized the man didn't just represent a different perspective, he embodied their biggest fears: doubt, skepticism, the harsh realities of the world they were trying to change. Taking a deep breath, she boldly stepped beside Jack. Experience isn't the only thing that matters, she found herself saying. Hope and connection can bridge the gaps. We can grow together. Silence lingered, a fragile breath hanging in the air. Jack turned to the crowd, lifting his chin with renewed determination. Who believes in change? A murmur broke through, voices trembled, and then we do. Echoed several voices, growing stronger. Emma's heart pounded, hope flaring back to life. But the man's glare bore into her, unwavering and fierce. The battle wasn't over. Just when she thought they had gained some ground, he shifted his stance. You kids think you're so special. What's gonna happen when you face the real world? A ripple of concern swept through the crowd again, and Emma felt herself slipping. Was the journey ahead more daunting than she had imagined? But in that moment, Jack reached for her hand, their fingers interlocking like an unbreakable chain. We'll figure things out together, he said fiercely, determination burning. Brighter than ever before. No matter what comes. Looking out into the crowd, Emma felt the waves of support gather strength. But the man, still fixed on them, was far from done. The question loomed, untamed and foreboding, what would challenge them next, and could they truly emerge from the shadows of doubt? As the man continued to loom over them, Emma could feel the air shift. Tension wrapped around her shoulders like a heavy blanket. Jack's grip on her hand was reassuring, a literal lifeline. She glanced around and saw faces filled with uncertainty, brows furrowed and eyes wide. In that moment, she understood something deeper. She wasn't just fighting for herself or Jack, she was standing up for every person in that crowd. Listen! Jack shouted, his voice breaking through the thick silence. We might be kids, but we are not without dreams. And those dreams matter. We believe in a better future, and that counts for something. The crowd stirred, their restless energy slowly rekindling. Emma felt something warm in her chest. Maybe they could turn the tide. But the man's eyes were cold, as icy as her own doubts. What do you think will happen if you fail? He sneered, challenging them. You could end up hurting those who believe in you. Think about that. Emma felt a thrumming pulse of fear at the back of her mind. What if he was right? What if their dreams were just that fleeting wishes that would shatter in reality? She caught Lily's eye, that little spark of innocence shining unaffected by the chaos around them. Lily tugged at Emma's arm, her eyes as big as saucers. Can I say something? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Without waiting for Jack or Emma to respond, Lily stepped forward. The small girl stood, shoulders squared, her little frame radiating a courage Emma couldn't help but admire. The crowd's eyes shifted to her, the murmur of uncertainty quieting down enough to hear the small voice that now stood before them. People always want to be happy. Lily declared, punctuating her statement with a little stomp of her foot. And being happy means being together. Not just alone at home, but together, helping each other. I know we can do that. The crowd erupted. Some clapped, some cheered, and others called out their agreement. Emma felt her heart swell with pride and hope. But the menacing figure still stood unmoved, gaze fixed on Lily. And what happens when adulthood hits? You think happiness alone is enough? You think that naive sweetness will change the hard truth of life? Emma felt the weight of his words but fought against the seed of doubt trying to sprout within her. It's not just about happiness, she said, stepping beside Lily. It's about community. It's about the connections we make. We're trying to build something better, together. Sometimes it starts with hope, even in the face of reality. The crowd was buzzing now, their energy shifting back toward a sense of momentum, voices rising in chorus. We believe in community. They shouted, creating a chant that echoed back at the man, but he wasn't done. With one final sneer, he challenged them again. And when you face your first obstacle, who will be there to catch you? Your dreams will turn into dust without support. Time will reveal you're just kids playing at something bigger than you can handle. He turned to leave, but Emma felt a fire ignite within her. No. This isn't just a game for us. We're ready to rise. We might be young, but we believe in each other. The crowd seemed to pulse in agreement, the air charged with renewed hope. They weren't just voices, they were a movement blooming in the heart of uncertainty. However, Emma knew they had to be careful. The challenge was clear and the man had rattled them, but peril loomed large in reality. Could they really hold on to that fire when push came to shove? With tension still arcing in the air, Jack leaned closer to Emma. We can't let this doubt become our enemy, he whispered, determination written all over his face. Just then, a loud clap shattered the crowd's focus, drawing their attention to a woman standing at the front. Her face was oddly familiar, and her presence a stark contrast to the man. She raised her hands. Enough. Emma's heart raced. Who was she? What did she want? The crowd hushed, anticipation buzzing like a low hum. What was about to unfold? Emma could feel it like a storm brewing in the distance, and she held her breath, ready for whatever came next. The woman stepped forward, her eyes scanning the crowd with an authority that demanded attention. Emma's heart thudded louder than the distant murmurs as the woman finally spoke, her voice calm and powerful. I'm here to tell you that your dreams do matter, and so do you. She paused, letting each word sink in like raindrops on parched ground. My name is Maria, and I was once in your shoes, believing in something bigger than myself. The crowd shifted, a mix of curiosity and hope igniting in their eyes. Maria continued, her energy contagious. When I was your age, I felt lost. People told me I was foolish for dreaming. But I didn't just dream, I acted on those dreams, and I found my community. Emma could feel the weight in her own heart waver. Something about Maria felt genuine, and her openness was warming the crowd. Jack squeezed Emma's hand tighter, a silent rallying cry against the doubt that had reared its ugly head. What you don't see, Maria went on, her voice rising, is that it's not simply about you. It's about the connections you create, the bonds you build, and how those help lift you when you stumble. That man out there may try to dissuade you, but he doesn't understand the power of unity. Lily, emboldened by Maria's words, jumped forward. I believe in happy together. She shouted, her small voice breaking through the renewed tension that hung in the air. The crowd turned toward her again, lighter now, smiles blooming in response to an innocent yet profound statement. Exactly. Maria responded with a beaming smile. And those smiles are strength. Together, you possess so much energy that even the darkest doubts can't stand against you. Don't let anyone tell you that you're just kids. Kids have the power to inspire change, too. Emma's chest felt lighter. Maria's example painted the shadows hanging over her heart in vibrant colors, rekindling that inner fire pushed down by fear. What about support? She found herself asking, the nervousness creeping back in. What if we fail? What if we eventually lose all of this? Maria stepped closer to Emma, kneeling so their eyes met. Failure isn't the opposite of success, my friend, it's part of it. You might stumble, but I assure you, if you surround yourself with those who believe in you, you'll rise even stronger. The crowd began murmuring again, this time with hope. Maria stood tall, arms open wide. Let us create a community today, right here. Form connections. Share your dreams. You need to understand that you are not alone in this together, you'll lift each other when that doubt tries to creep back in. Jack turned to Emma, his eyes glimmering with newfound determination. We can do this. We have to. Around them, people began to huddle together, forming small groups. Laughter and excitement swirled through the air. Emma felt her heartbeat synchronize with theirs, a steady rhythm of resilient hope, but the challenge remained. Emma's eyes drifted back to the spot where the man had stood, now empty but heavy with unspoken shadows. What if their spirit faltered once more? What if they faced adversity that felt insurmountable? Just as she pondered this, Maria stepped back, clearing her throat. "I'd like to share a story about a hidden bracelet I had when I was a child." Emma leaned in, eyes wide with curiosity, eager to hear what wisdom this woman might share in the face of adversity. But what could the bracelet reveal that would resonate with their struggles today? Emma held her breath, ready for this moment of revelation. Maria took a deep breath, her gaze sweeping the crowd. "When I was 10, I found a bracelet in my grandmother's attic. It was made of colorful beads, so vibrant and cheerful. I remember thinking it was just a piece of jewelry, something for fun." She smiled softly, her eyes sparkling with nostalgia. "I wore it everywhere. It made me feel special, like I could take on the world. But one day, I was running through my neighborhood, and the bracelet slipped from my wrist. I searched for hours, my heart aching with loss. I asked friends, neighbors, anyone who would listen. But it seemed like my treasure was gone forever." Emma could sense the crowd leaning closer, drawn into Maria's tale. The air felt charged with anticipation, each person holding their breath, waiting to see how the story would unfold. "Months passed, and I learned to accept its loss," Maria continued, her voice steady. "But one day, at a community fair, a little girl approached me. She smiled shyly, holding out her hand. And there it was, my bracelet. 'I found this,' she said. 'It belongs to you, doesn't it?' Gasps echoed in the crowd, and Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest. The idea of connection, of finding something precious again, resonated deeply. Maria's smile widened. "In that moment, I realized something profound. The bracelet wasn't just an object. It had been a symbol, reminding me of the love and community surrounding me. The little girl had no idea, but she rekindled a fire in my heart. She reminded me that when we share our struggles, we invite others to rally around us." Jack leaned closer to Emma, a soft expression on his face. "It's like what we're doing now," he said in a whisper. "Sharing our dreams and supporting each other." Maria's voice wrapped around them like a warm blanket. "That's the power of unity. Like my bracelet, your dreams can connect with others. Together, you form a tapestry of support that's unbreakable. It won't always be easy. Life will test you, and it will feel heavy at times. Yet, the strength of your community can be your lifeline." The crowd erupted with applause, their spirits soaring even higher. Emma felt a surge of energy. Maria wasn't just a speaker, she was a beacon, guiding them toward their own light. "What do you mean by testing us?" a voice called out from the back, challenging yet curious. Maria paused, her eyes scanning the faces around her. "Life has its challenges, like storms that test your will. It will push you down, doubt will creep in. But if you're ready to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, there's little you can't overcome." "How do we do that?" a girl asked, a determined glint in her eye. "Take the first step. Start small," Maria urged. "Share your stories. Offer a helping hand. And always lift each other up. The bond you build will create a powerful legacy, and that legacy is what can change the world." As the crowd buzzed with excitement, Emma felt a shift within her. It was as if uncertainty began to unravel, and hope blossomed in its place. But just then, an unexpected stake came into the atmosphere. A loud crack echoed from the distance. People turned as a dark figure emerged from the shadows, lurking at the edge of the gathering. Emma's heart sank. What intentions did this newcomer hold? Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to face another challenge, one that could shake the fragile bonds they had just begun to build. The crowd froze, uncertainty creeping back in as the looming figure stepped into the light. Emma's heart raced as she scanned the unfamiliar face, a mix of intimidation and curiosity swirling inside her. "Who are you?" Jack called out, a strong resolve in his voice, as he stood shoulder to shoulder with Emma. The crowd shifted nervously, murmurs rippling like waves upon a serene lake disturbed by an uninvited storm. "My name is Victor," the figure replied, his tone dripping with skepticism. "And I need you to understand that dreams alone won't pave the path to success. It takes more than just a handful of kids playing pretend. You're lost, misguided. And you're risking more than you know." A wave of anger surged within Emma. How could he dismiss their dreams so easily? She could feel the energy in the crowd falter, faces dropping in disbelief. Doubt clawed at Emma's insides, but she knew she couldn't let it take hold. "You don't understand," she spoke, stepping forward as Jack remained close by her side. "We're not pretending this is real." Victor looked at her, surprise flickering in his eyes. "You think just believing is enough? The world is harsh. You'll face challenges that will tear this fantasy apart. And we're ready for that." Emma exclaimed, her voice strong and clear. "We know it won't be easy, but together we can rise above those challenges. We've built something here, a community, a bond. This support means everything. But what happens when the community you've built falters?" He pressed, narrowing his gaze. "What's your backup plan then?" "Backup plans don't create dreams," Jack chimed in, stepping up beside Emma. "It's in our connection that we find strength. If one of us stumbles, we all help lift them back up." The crowd began to stir, murmurs of agreement blossoming like wildflowers. Victor's frown deepened, but he couldn't swat away the unity that enveloped them. "You think that will carry you through the harsh times? It won't hold when things get tough." Emma could feel the tension gnawing at her gut. But at that moment, Lily tugged on her sleeve again, eyes wide. "Then we work harder," she shouted, unafraid and resolute. "We learn and grow. Together. Always." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices filling the air with a sound that painted the corners of doubt in an optimistic hue. The shift felt tangible, a wave of determination washing over everyone present. Victor shifted uncomfortably, realizing he was losing ground. "What if I told you that your hopes could actually be turned into reality?" Maria spoke up, her voice steady like a guiding light cutting through the chaos. "Don't let negativity become your truth. Each challenge you face will reinforce your bond, teach you how to navigate, and ultimately empower your dreams." Jack, catching Emma's eye, nodded toward her. They were in this together. "What we've started is just the beginning," he announced to the crowd, a bright spark igniting between them. "We're not naive, we're resolute. And we believe our community can create change." The audience exploded in applause, the energy surging like wildfire through their hearts. Emma glanced at Victor, watching the skepticism fade from his expression. "Maybe just trying to break your dreams isn't fair," he conceded, for the first time showing a hint of fascination. "But you need a plan. Something more than just hope and dreams." Hope bloomed within Emma. "And we'll make that plan together. We'll gather ideas, share experiences, and be the voices that lift others. Building a future means being open to learning." Victor regarded them, the tension in his posture softening marginally. He hesitated before speaking again. "It's a tall order. But if you truly believe you're ready for what's next, then we are." They called back, their voices a resonating chorus that echoed through the air like a battle cry. Emma felt her heart leap. They were ready. They could transform dreams into action. Jack smiled beside her, his eyes gleaming with encouragement. This was the moment where they began to forge their pathway, one they could create together. Watching the support wrapping around them like a comforting blanket, Emma took a deep breath. For the first time, doubt felt light as a feather instead of an anchor weighing her down. Together, they could write new stories, change lives, and inspire hope not just in others but within themselves. She glanced at Lily, whose infectious energy radiated strength. "If we can inspire others to dream, maybe we can help them find their own support systems, too," she said softly. "Yes. Jack replied, his voice laced with excitement. We'll build a network that multiplies dreams. Let us share resources, connect passions, do this together. The crowd began to cheer once more, their voices rising to a crescendo of enthusiasm. As they began forming groups, sharing ideas and brainstorming, Emma felt that same warmth wrapping around her heart, the bond of hope and community holding tight. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, it felt like a new dawn was beginning, not just for Emma, Jack, and Lily, but for everyone present. The whispers of young dreams grew louder in the night, and she couldn't wait to see what they would achieve together. They had found their strength not in overwhelming doubt but in unity, support, and shared stories. And that, Emma realized, was the true magic of it all. As they stood together, surveys of possibility ahead, Emma told herself they were embarking on an exhilarating journey, one she would never want to end. This was just the beginning, now it's your turn. If you love this heartwarming story, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive tales. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really helps. And I want to hear from you. Comment your reactions and feelings about this journey and transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this inspiring change. This is the moment to show your support. Let us uplift each other.